I didn't expect anything that evening. Mom had invited a few people over. Nothing unusual. Just her friends, some tea, quiet laughter drifting through the house like it always did. I stayed in my room longer than I should have, scrolling through nothing, avoiding everything. Loneliness has a way of becoming routine. You don't notice it at first. Then one day, silence starts feeling louder than noise. "Come say hi at least," Mom called from the hallway. I sighed, ran a hand through my hair, and stepped out. That's when I saw her. She was sitting near the window, half turned toward the light. Soft sunlight brushed her face, catching the edges of her hair. She wasn't talking much, just listening, nodding occasionally, a small smile forming and fading like she wasn't fully present. "Armand, this is Sanaa," Mom said casually. "My friend's niece." She looked up. "Hi," she said, simple and calm. "Hey," I replied, probably too quietly. She was 25, I later learned. I was 27. Close enough in age to feel like we were on the same page, but far enough that it didn't feel forced. I grabbed a cup of tea just to have something to do with my hands and sat across the room. Every now and then, our eyes met for a second too long. Then we both looked away like we hadn't noticed. There was something about her that didn't demand attention, but held it anyway. At one point, the others got caught up in a loud conversation about something I wasn't following. She leaned slightly toward me. "You don't look like you want to be here either," she said, almost like a secret. I smiled. "That obvious?" "A little," she shrugged. "Same." We both laughed softly, careful not to interrupt the room. That was the first moment things shifted. We didn't talk much after that, just small exchanges. But somehow, the silence between us didn't feel empty. It felt comfortable. Before leaving, she stood near the door, adjusting her bag. "Nice meeting you," she said. "Yeah, you too." She hesitated for half a second. "I might come by again," she added. I nodded, pretending it didn't matter. "Cool." She gave a small smile, then walked out. I stood there longer than necessary after the door closed. That night, for the first time in months, my room didn't feel as heavy. I didn't know why, but I found myself hoping she'd come back. She'd come back. Not immediately, but often enough that it stopped feeling like coincidence. The first real conversation happened in the kitchen. Mom and her friends were busy in the living room again, and Sanaa had wandered in to get water. I was already there, leaning against the counter. "Still avoiding the crowd?" she asked. "Trying," I said. She smiled, then stayed. We talked about small things at first. Music, work, random opinions. Nothing deep, but it felt easy, like we didn't have to try. The second time we bonded was outside. It had started raining unexpectedly, and everyone rushed inside except us. We stood under the small shade near the entrance, watching the rain hit the street. "I like this," she said. "Getting stuck in the rain. Yeah, like everything pauses for a bit." I looked at her. "You needed a pause." She didn't answer right away. "Maybe," she said quietly. That was the first glimpse of something deeper. The third moment was simple. We started texting. Not constantly, just enough. Good morning sometimes. Random thoughts. Late night. You still up? Messages that turned into long conversations. One night, she said something that stayed with me. "I don't usually let things get too real," she admitted. "Why?" She took a while to reply. "Because I don't stay in one place for long." That was her vulnerable confession. I didn't push. Just said, "That makes sense." But it stayed in my mind. Still, we kept going. It turned into a routine. She'd visit. We'd talk. Sometimes we'd go out for coffee nearby. Nothing official. Nothing labeled. But it felt like something. A quiet, growing connection. A realistic love story in the making. Looking back, that was the beginning of our right person, wrong time story. I just didn't realize it yet. The first crack didn't look like one. We were sitting in a cafe, late evening. She was telling me about a potential job opportunity in another city. I asked. "Maybe," she said casually. "Still thinking about it." I nodded, stirring my coffee. "That's good." But something inside me shifted. Later that night, I kept thinking about it. Not in a dramatic way, just small questions. Where does this go? What are we building? Are we building anything? The next few days felt slightly off. Not distant, just heavier. Our conversations had more pauses. Not awkward, just thoughtful. One evening, I finally said it. "You don't plan on staying here, do you?" She looked at me for a moment. I don't know, she replied honestly. That honesty hurt more than anything else could have. We didn't argue. We just sat there, both aware of something we hadn't fully addressed. That's when overthinking started creeping in. Not loud, not chaotic, just constant. The job offer came through. She told me in the same calm tone she used for everything. I got it, she said. I nodded. That's amazing. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes completely. It's a big move. Yeah. We sat on a bench, side by side, not looking at each other. When would you go? I asked. Couple of weeks. That silence after that felt heavier than anything we'd shared before. I always knew this was a possibility, she said quietly. Yeah, me too. But knowing something and feeling it are different things. I finally looked at her. You want to go? She didn't hesitate. Yes. And that was enough. No arguments. No blam. Just reality. After that, everything changed slowly. Texts became shorter. Calls became less frequent. We still talked, but it felt like we were both trying to act normal. One night, she came over again. We sat in my room, just like before. Same place, same setting, but something was missing. We talked about random things. Laughed a little. For a moment, it almost felt like nothing had changed. That was the painful part, because we both knew it had. When she left, I opened our chat and typed, "Do you think we're just pretending now?" I stared at the message, then deleted it. We met at a park bench. It felt neutral, safe. She arrived first. I could tell by the way she was sitting, hands folded, shoulders slightly tense. "Hey," I said. "Hey." We sat down. No rush to speak. "I've been thinking," she started. "Me too." She nodded. "I don't want to hold you in something uncertain." I exhaled slowly. "I don't want you to stay for me either." There it was. The truth laid out gently. "I wish," she began, then stopped. "Yeah," I said. We both smiled faintly at the unfinished sentence, because we both knew how it ended. "This was real," she said. "I know, just not the right time." I nodded. Right person, wrong time. A mature breakup. No anger, no blam. Just two people understanding that love isn't always enough when timing doesn't align. She stood up first. "I'm glad I met you," she said. "Me too." She hesitated for a second, then walked away. I didn't stop her, because sometimes letting go with love is the only thing you can do. Time passed. Not dramatically, just quietly. I focused on work, started going out more, reconnected with parts of myself I had ignored. The loneliness didn't disappear, but it changed. It became something I understood better. Sometimes I'd think about her, not with regret, not with pain, just recognition. We had something real, a realistic love story that didn't turn into forever, but still mattered. I learned that relationship timing isn't something you can control. You can meet the right person at the wrong time. You can build something beautiful and still have to let it go. And that doesn't make it a failure. It makes it human. Months later, I found our old messages. I didn't feel the urge to reopen anything. Just read a few lines, then closed it. Some stories don't need continuation. They just need understanding. Because in the end, we didn't lose each other. We simply met at the wrong chapter of our lives.